Well, good morning, good evening, what it do? How are you? Hootie hoo, happy Saturday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, dollar Avant, that's still double up. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, it is day 31 of this 100-day challenge. And I am on assignment. I'm on assignment because there's an inner work, there's a shift that we have to make as a unit, as a people, and it comes from within. I'm going to prove to you today that wealth comes from within, and I'm going to tell you why. We got to show up every day. Do it again. Do it again. This is like if I had you guys in person, it wouldn't take 100 days. If we had a retreat, we went somewhere and just, because you got to get in the energy. You got to get out all of the old programming, all of the old toxic energy, all the old trauma. We got to heal from all of that. You got to burn all that stuff out. You got to release all of but I was doing it this way, or I thought it was supposed to be this way, or I wish somebody would come and do it for me, or I wanted somebody to write me a check, or I wanted to be discovered, and all of this external looking stuff. We got to burn all of that in the fire. And then we got to allow this new thing to be birthed out of us. So if we were in person, like I said, it would take 100 days. But because we got to do it this way, I had to repeat myself. I am the fire. Okay. I'm the fire. So every time I come and you be like, oh, but dog, what about it? I'm gonna take it right back. Oh, but and eventually it's gonna click for you. So I'm excited that I have the privilege to sit in this seat. I speak from the seat of the ancestors. Y'all know I say that I take it very seriously. And I'm honored, honestly, to get to do this work with you. But this is work. We're going in. You cannot leave this experience the same way you started. No. And you cannot take the frameworks and the things that I give you and try to use it with old energy and old identity, because you're just going to hear something and it's going to sound cute. And then you're going to like put it in your journal somewhere. And then people be sending me pictures of all their journal notes and stuff from me. They got a whole separate notebook just for all notes and stuff like that. And I want to know, how much are you using the notes? When are you reading said notes? How much are you studying and applying to what you got going on for real? This is work. So like, think of this as your gym, we're doing the workouts so we can get to a place of strength. We're doing the reps so that we become strong internally. We get to a place of balance. So we have like what I call that entrepreneurial homeostasis, where you're not just like every time, oh, I didn't get this client, then it knocks you off balance. Oh, I thought I was going to get this deal and nothing happened, and it knocks you off balance. And you're trying to lift, you're trying to go for this big, I want to go national, I want to be on TV, and I want to, do this big partnership, and I want to work with this big corporation, but you can't hold the weight. You can't hold it. You can't hold it. You crumbling, you crushing, you pass it out, you fall it out. We got to do this work so we can be strong enough to handle this vision that some of us have been given. Some of y'all said it was a calling. Some of y'all said, God, Jehovah, somebody told me. You were like, I'm building generational wealth. I got to do this for the family. It's on me. Like all of that energy, we have to grow to be able to support that, right? Just like all these trees out here. Y'all, is it snowing? It's snowing. What's up with the snow day? How they get it this wrong? Y'all told me last weekend was supposed to be the storm of the century, and now I'm looking at snow on the rooftop across we got a big thing back there. Everything, it looks like white Christmas. What's going on? But these beautiful trees that are up here that can, handle all the wind and the storms and the things, you can't handle that if you still a little sapling. We have to grow. We have to rise. And that's what we do in the dollhouse. This is a place designed. Okay, what's your vision? What you trying to do? Okay, cool. Now, where are you at? Okay, bam. That's why we use the roadmap. These are locations energetically. And now I got to give you a game plan and the tools and the environment so that you can grow from this version of you into this version of you, the one that has what you said you wanted. That's what we do here. So welcome. I'm glad y'all are here. And on day 31, this is Saturday School, the snow day edition of Saturday School. So we're going to talk about something that most people probably don't talk about or even use this phrase, and that is energetic debt. It keeps you stuck, even though you think you're doing the work and you're being busy. Some of us are in energetic debt. So I got to I earned my keep over here, so I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. The thing that makes you feel stuck, that makes you feel anxious, that makes you feel behind, that makes you feel overwhelmed, that makes you feel a sense of dread. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, oh my God. Like you get in your head all the time. Remember I told you got to drop from the head space down to the heart space. And sometimes it's hard for you to do that. It's because you're in energetic debt. So we're going to talk about what that is and how to get out of it. Okay. So remember the foundation of all of this. If entrepreneurship is a game, okay, I'm teaching you how to play the game. That's what I'm doing. Okay. If entrepreneurship is a game, that means we have to develop the skills and learn the rules to play the game. So the first thing I wanted you guys to do is to actually get in the game. Okay. We're not auditing entrepreneurship, right? Remember there are five levels of entrepreneurship. And the 5 levels, when you start out, it's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm taking this risk. I'm going to do this thing. I said I was going to do this thing. And then here I go. Here I go. Like you just jumping out. You're taking a risk. Okay, that's fine. But you could jump off of, this is a high, my back deck is high. You could jump off the side of this thing. Whoa, you took a risk. Woo! But then when you hit the ground, you're probably going to hurt your leg or break your ankle or something. I mean, why are we celebrating that? So when people say, I'm an entrepreneur now, okay, yay, question mark. Level 2, people start auditing. And most people never move past level 2. Auditing, meaning I'm running to workshops, meatballs and alcohol. Now they got wings on deck. I'm going to conferences. I'm going to summits. I'm reading books. I'm watching YouTube videos about entrepreneurship. I'm researching. I'm scrolling through my social all half the day, watching other people do what I said I wanted to do. And, I'm taking notes and I'm doing this and I'm on a Zoom call and I'm in a mastermind and I'm, but you're auditing. Just like in college, if you audit a class, the professor lets you come in there and sit in the class and you listen. You got the syllabus. You can go get the books out the college bookstore if you want to. But guess what? You don't get any credit for that class that you're auditing. And that we don't have time to be auditing entrepreneurship. Level 3 is where I want everybody to be. This is my commitment to you. I want you to at least get to where you are a founder, where you're establishing systems that bring you consistent results repeatedly over time, where I don't have to hope and guess and wonder where I'm going to make some money and hope and guess and wonder what my revenue is going to be this month, this quarter, this year. Well, I'm not having to like just hope and pray and all of that energy. It shouldn't be a hope and a pray. The tree outside is not a hoping and praying that it's, it's a tree. Trees don't try to be trees. They are trees. It's an identity shift. Okay. So when you become a founder, you are learning the processes that you need to take, and you're doing the actions, the coordinated actions, so that you have a system that gives you repeatable, predictable, sustainable, scalable results, right? Then level 4 is the builder. We're building that thing out and making it a whole world, universe, ecosystem where people can find you. And then level 5, now you can call yourself a CEO. That's somebody who is overseeing sales, staff, and systems that are getting you a repeatable result. And now everybody don't want to do this work. So I already understand that. That's fine. That's fine. But I'm here for those. I'm here for the faithful, the ones who are like, hold on. What I'm not going to do is play out here, because they're not playing out there. Y'all see what's going on? They're not playing, so we can't play. All right. So if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, anxious, you feel behind, you feel like there's any kind of gap between where you are right now and what you want to build, we have work to do in this area. So when I said entrepreneurship is a game, there are these 5 things that everybody in here should be doing every single day. Every day. Every day. Because if you're not doing this, you're not in the game. Example, basketball. I don't want to talk about the NBA finals. I don't want to talk about All-Star Weekend. I don't want to talk about none of that. If you can't dribble, pass, and shoot, what are we talking about? And likewise, every day, you need to be practicing your 5-star pitch. You need to be picking your afros, what I call it, really working through your afro method and preparing to actually talk to a human. You should know how to have a sales conversation without sounding salesy. This should be a part of your toolkit, your tool belt, your skill set, okay? Then activating your inner circle. There's a circle of 50 people. You should be meeting enough real life humans that you could send a message, send a text, send a DM, call somebody, and set up a Zoom and actually talk to real humans about what it is that you do. Either they're your potential client profile, or they know somebody who can refer you to somebody, or they work in a company that might be a good fit. Like, you need a feedback loop, talking to real humans every single day. And there's a way to invite them into this world that you're building and invite their input. And there's 5 steps to that. You need to be doing this every day. Then broadcasting your brilliance, like literally digitizing the conversations that you're having, the thought leadership, the things that you're coming up with, and start to put it out on social media where people are. By the way, I have a LinkedIn coach. I have a YouTube coach. I have a Substack coach, because these are the places. TikTok is dead, y'all. Just trust me. I'm going to write about it on Substack. But when you're trying to do something and you don't have that skill set, get a coach. Find somebody who's been where you're trying to go. Now, fortunately, I am some of y'all's coach, so I'm willing to take what I've learned and I bring it back and share it with you. So I have a whole breakdown of what you need to be doing on YouTube right now. There's still space to grow on YouTube. LinkedIn is totally wide open. 92% of people on YouTube, 98% of people on LinkedIn are not doing anything that's going to move the lever. But I've got a coach making $1.2 million a year on LinkedIn. And what I learned from her, I'll share some with you. But you have plenty of opportunity on LinkedIn. Plenty. I think tomorrow I'm going to do a LinkedIn challenge. I'm going to give you guys some, like, not prompts, but however you say that, things that you can go make a post like this, run this play, go see what happens on LinkedIn. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. There's opportunity to grow on YouTube. There's people you can make a couple hundred, couple thousand still right now, a month on YouTube. You can grow. You don't have to worry about millions of followers going viral and all that kind of stuff. It's not about that. It's about, can you monetize it? And I can show you how to do that. And Substack is wide open because everybody's jumping off of TikTok. And so there's a lot of momentum going to YouTube and Substack. Instagram is, it's the jury's out, but more importantly, Meta is almost in the same boat as TikTok at this point. But I'll have to tell you what's going on, because it's going to sound crazy if I just say it. You got to see all the receipts. You got to follow me all the way through the rabbit hole, and then you make a decision about TikTok. But the short version of that, I will say, if you have agreed to their new terms of service, which I did not, that's going to be the picture when I write this article, will be the screenshot that I took when I went to the open my TikTok the other day. And somebody had told me this in advance, thankfully. And the new terms and conditions popped up. And the things that they ask you to agree to, the things that they now have a right to do, tracking your financial information, all your location, they own your image for all time, your sexual orientation, your medical records, child, you have agreed to all of that in TikTok. So anyway, we don't talk about it. That is a tool of the surveillance state as of right now. But my point is, number 4 thing is you need to be broadcasting your brilliance every day. So it's like, well, I don't know how to use social media. There's no longer an excuse for that. We don't have time. We got to rise. So if you don't know how to do social media, you need to do a monthly membership in the Dollhouse, because when I bring all of this stuff and I study the people who've got millions and millions of people on their podcast, and he gave me his entire playbook and blueprint, and I get the time and get around to bringing it to y'all, those who are monthly members, you don't have to ask me, oh, doll, I need to get that. It's going to be in the thing. It's going to be in the Dollhouse 2.0. It's going to be in the school. So anyway, broadcast your brilliance every day. Start somewhere. And I'm going to give you a play that you can run on LinkedIn. We got a question about LinkedIn in the chat. It says, I'm growing my business and it's separate from what I present on LinkedIn, which is my corporate image. Should I add my business to the personal LinkedIn? So let me see. Okay, so Latrice, that is, you don't work a 9 to 5. If you don't work a 9 to 5, go ahead.
Okay. Hey. And I just want to say thank you so much for everything.
Absolutely.
And although I don't tune in into the Zoom, I'm listening every day at 2:00 on YouTube.
Absolutely. Thank you for being part.
So for me, no, I do not currently work a 9 to 5. However, with the climate of the world today, I am still actively working on certifications in my field, which is software engineering.
Okay.
And as you know, my business is STEAM education. So as I'm looking for leads for a remote job within the software engineering world, I am growing my business. So that's why I'm not sure if I should add that to it.
Yes, I would. And then if it becomes necessary, when you have, 500 schools or 24 counties in your program and things like that, obviously you can just make a page, right, for She Digital. So like I have my personal LinkedIn, and then Aquagenuity has a page, right, on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do like that. But I would definitely make mention of it in your bio. Definitely, have posts that are speaking to that on your personal LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then thing number 5, we need to be doing every day. Shout out to Micaiah, because now every time I say this, I think about her, because that was her question for like a week. Yes, we need to document when we meet with humans and we have a conversation, or somebody sends us a DM or whatever that is. It needs to go on your CRM. Why? Because we still got life to live. You got kids, babies running around, got stuff to do. It's a lot. How are you going to remember that? So you meet somebody, the spark was there, the connection was great, and then you don't even remember to follow up with them if it's not top of mind. But if you put it into a system, and we're going to talk about this today, because we don't have time to play out here, y'all. 222. Put it into a system, and that's going to allow for, let the system do the heavy lifting. Let the system make sure that you're not losing your harvest. You do all this work, you put all the seeds in the ground, you do all this stuff, and then you turn around and lose it because we don't have a container for it. So your CRM, your documentation, you're taking notes, had a great conversation. Don't try to remember all that in your brain. Put it somewhere so that you free up the bandwidth so that you can stay in your zone of genius. It's like having 237,000 tabs open on your computer. You can't do that and expect it to run properly. It's not going to run. It's not going to run properly. You know what I mean? So we must document all of this activity, all of this social currency. Again, if somebody gave you a bag full of $100 bills, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, I don't want to take the time to go put it in the safe when I get home. I don't feel like doing that. What are we talking about? You put it in the bank or something, you got to put it somewhere. So if you're having interactions with human beings and you're having conversations, or somebody sends you a message or whatever, it goes into the bank. The CRM is your bank for your social capital. Put it up every day before you go, go to your chill time, or go, do your fun stuff, or go hang out with your husband or whatever. Put it in the place where it goes. That's why we document every single day. So for those who missed the intro, I figured out every day I focus, really want to clarify the mission. What is the dollhouse? Why are we here? We're doing the work. We're doing these reps, first of all, so that we can hold the weight of this vision that y'all said you have. You want to be the John, not in the evil way, but the John Rockefeller of your family. You want to change your family tree. You want to do all this. Generational wealth. Do you know what generational wealth is? Has anybody? Hold on. I tell this story all the time. Like, listen to me. This man told me he runs the Family Office Association. If you know what a family office is, there's about 10,000 of those globally. But these are the people that manage the private wealth offices for like the Walmarts and all these people, right? The Walton family and whoever. Like my homegirl is a Buffett, okay? Warren Buffett, she's a Buffett. Okay, they got a whole staff to manage their wealth. Okay, so this man was the head of that. And I said, how did you become the head of this? And he said, well, I used to run a family office for some company. Most of the rich people, you never heard of them. We know that, right? But he said, and then, they brought him to this association, and he told me about this family. The man died in 1910, the year of our Lord, 1910. All right. This was 2023 when I'm talking to this man. And from that day, catch this one, as my mom would say, nobody in this man's family has had to work for money. I'm sorry, what? So I don't know how you count the generation. That's either 5, 6, or maybe going on 7 generations. Okay, where the babies just grow up and you wake up and it's like, what do I want to do? What's my purpose on the planet? How do I want to feel today? You know what I mean? Like, So when you say that you feel that you want to build something that's going to be a legacy, that's, for you, the grandbabies and all, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, all this kind of stuff. Do you know the responsibility, the weight? We got to get in the gym and do these reps so we can hold the weight of such a vision. To go from just being a W-2, I don't care if you're making, I saw somebody online yesterday, she was talking about she turned down this job, $400,000 job. I know that some folks that work directly, literally for Google in the headquarters, and they came to Atlanta, they were shocked. These people, that was 2019, 2018. So at the time, they live in San Francisco. I don't know if you ever been to San Francisco, but there's pockets and parts. I'm talking about the super fancy part, okay? She said when she got in her Uber, when she left the airport, Atlanta airport, to come, y'all know the Google building up there, they gave me the office over there too. And if y'all know, you can see it from the freeway in Atlanta. And she said that was her first time ever in person meeting a Trump supporter. And she was like, what? These people really exist. And I'm like, girl, when I tell you these wealthy people are living in, it's a different world. Did Claire Huxtable tell y'all it's a different world? They are living in a totally, it's like, what are we talking about? What money problem where? Like, they're not using their brain power to like think about wealth. And that's totally foreign to us. So the amount to go from, but see, she was just working a job. Okay. So she probably got paid about $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And you got taxes, whatever. That's still an exorbitant amount of money. But that's not like nobody ever for the next 5 generations will ever have to work again money. Like, do you know how fast, if you have a team, staff of 15 people, you got $2 million in your bank account, you know how long that's going to last you? About 18 months. Like, these are not big numbers to them. So to go from working a $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 job to now, I don't have to work for anybody. My assets, my cash flow, I know what's going on, and to build a whole system that does that without external institutions. Do you know the shift? Do you know the amount of shift that listen, this is why we show up every day in the dollhouse. It's not a game. Okay. So we got to do the reps and get this work so we can be strong enough and have enough capacity to hold this thing that we said we want to build. But also, we got to burn out all of that negative programming. It's the old ways of thinking. And I want to do this, but everything that comes after that, we got to get rid of all of that. So that's why I talk crazy. I finally figured out, because I was like, I'm not like, I am like this all the time, but you know what I'm saying? I'm bougie, but I have like home training. Like, I know how to talk to people. Like, I'm not just like going to yell at people all the time. Like, why am I showing up like this? Because if we were in person, that's what I said earlier for those who weren't on. If we were doing this in person, it would not take 100 days. That's first of all. If we were doing a retreat somewhere. But there is an element of like fire. Like there's a burning away of the old way of doing it, the old energy, the old frequency, the old the people that you used to think, the ways that you used to think. And I got a whole lesson on that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow and then give you the nugget for LinkedIn tomorrow. But you can both be looking at the same reality, 2 different people. And if you have 2 different perspectives, and y'all are going to see 2 different things, even though you're looking at the same thing. And on the quantum level, like the people you used to hang out with, you can't hang out with them no more. The places you used to go, you can't go there no more. The way you used to think about stuff, the way you used to approach your own emotions, you can't do that anymore. And then still expect to have this outcome that you said that you want. So at our house, every time you like, but, and then bah, and I'm like, nope, bring it back, bring it in. It's like, I'm stuck with this, but like, we're gonna bring it in. Like, that's what we do here. So it's my honor and privilege to get to do this with you. But nobody does this. So like, I know that we're building this experience together. So thank you for trusting me to do that. But those are the big 5. This is not a game. You need to be doing those 5 things every day. Every day. So I know everybody's not there. It's fine. So as those replays get put up in the school, I'll be referencing certain ones for you to go back and listen to and stuff like that. There's going to be a resource list where you could, what's the big 5? And you just grab it and go click on it and all of that. So it's coming. But you need to get in the game. That's external. But also internally, we're learning how to regulate our nervous system, broadcast our frequency into the quantum field, and hold the energy long enough to start seeing things rearrange around us. I will put these resources. If y'all were here Thursday, you probably already have them, but just in case you don't. I will put this here for you, and then we'll get into it today. Boom. Okay. This will give you a lot of what I'll be referencing throughout the thing. So there's required a video that I would need everybody to watch. Everybody. It's in there. And the big 5, what you need to be doing every day, that's in there. If you're like, I don't know how to talk to people, I don't know how to, have these conversations, that's in there. A lot of good stuff. So make sure you get that if you don't already have these resources. Boom, got it on the stream. Okay. All right. So if you're doing your big 5, let's say that you are. I like to be positive. Let's say that you're starting to do these things, start to incorporate these things, including documenting, all your brilliance, broadcasting brilliance. You're activating and inviting people to an individual conversation about your brilliance so you can get a feedback loop going, right? You're preparing for those conversations before you go in there by really meditating, visualizing, and working through your Afro method on a daily basis so that it feels natural and flows out of you. And you're practicing your 5-star pitch every day. And you're also working on regulating your nervous system so you're not waking up freaking out and doing all of that, okay? Now, that's the foundation, okay? That's the prerequisite. That's like got you on the basketball court, okay? But now we need to get to some nuance, okay? There are actually 3 rules of how to build wealth, okay? And I'm not talking about the kind of wealth that we can see, the kind of wealth that you would read a book, a financial book about or whatever, although it will lead to that. But I'm talking about the energy that creates that, the inner version of this, okay? It starts in the unseen realm and in the pending. Remember, if you make a deposit in your bank account, it's going to be pending. If you put $1 million check in that bank, it's going to be pending for a second before it's posted. So I'm talking about the realm where it's pending, okay? And I told you yesterday that everything that you want, everything you think you need, if you have established that that's, you've locked into that frequency, you're already connected to it. However, if you're in energetic debt, you're actually you're putting static, blocking the signal, so you're not getting a clear signal through this channel, okay? So we're going to talk about how to unlock and unblock that, okay? It's energetic, it's a spiritual thing. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual act. So again, I'm not going to tell you no lies. I'm not going to tell you nothing cute and then you go and then you don't get no results. I need you to get results. So we got to deal with it at the energetic level as well as the external, the frameworks. So you cannot receive what's coming to you. Like you had the vision, you locked in, you told everybody. That's a song my mom used to sing. You did all of that, and then you're like, it's just not, something is, I don't know. It's because you're in energetic debt, okay? Like, it's like you owe. Okay, universal law says, if somebody gives you something, why do we say thank you when somebody gives us something? Because energetically, we know that there is reciprocity required when that comes. So if intuition, this idea, the vision, whatever has come to you, now something is required of you. To whom much is given, much is required. Like it's actually energetically required of you. So if you have these unopened packages from God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, sitting on your front step, and you got time to scroll on your phone all day, all week. Oh, I'm taking a week off, doing all that. You either just grab a hookah lounge and watching Netflix and stuff instead of opening up these packages that the universe has sent you. It creates energetic debt. So today we're going to talk about what that is, these 3 rules of wealth and how you're violating them, and then how to win this game. Let's flip that around on its head so that we can get better outcomes every time. And then you just show up like this every time, you're going to win. You're going to start winning. And you're like, things just are happening for me. Yes, because we're about to reset some things. Okay. So let's talk about what I keep saying, wealth, wealth, wealth. I need to reprogram for some folks. Man, that snow is not playing right now. Your understanding of what money is. Can we all agree that money is not actually real? I think we can all agree. Like the version of the monetary system that we live in right now, fiat, whatever, it's an invention. It's capitalism. Dare I say it's a social construct. They have meetings. Somebody had a meeting. They said, this is what we're going to do. And Jekyll Island and all the rest of that. And they said, this is how it's going to go. Cool. And then they came back and they told us, here we go. It's a social construct. And that's good though, because that it's not the natural system. Okay. It's an artificial system built on nature. That's why they use all these nature terms in the financial world: liquidity, cash flow, rivers flow through banks. All of it's more. It keeps going. If you're in debt, they say you're underwater. Okay, it's an artificial system that's built on nature. So if it's a social construct, that means it can be dismantled. And more importantly, that means I can teach you how to transcend it. Okay, because the problem with that is like, okay, it's a social construct, it's cool, but it wasn't built for you. Capitalism was not built for us, it was built on us. So if we don't learn what I'm talking about, we're the property. It was built on, literally on us. Okay, people lost money when slavery was over. So like people get mad, like, oh, reparations did it. It wasn't that they just wanted to give free money to the former slave owners and the white people, give them land and all that when they went west and all of that. It wasn't just like we love to give people things. That was the compromise they made. They said, okay, we taking your property. That's their wealth. That's us. They said, so in exchange, we're going to give you a bunch of free money and all the land. Just go out there and pick you some land and boom, there you go. There was a debt because we were freed. You see what I'm saying? Like, this system is not for us at all. We have to exit. We have to get off this financial grid. We got to transcend that system because it wasn't made for us. It was made on us. Listen, this is why this surveillance state is being built around us. I've been trying to stay off of this, but it's all connected. Because if they change the rules and they change the laws and they change the norms and they make it so that protest or dissent or just any normal behavior, or you don't have a good enough social credit score or your trust score, or all of this, and they have a maybe whether it's extra legal or whatever, but they have now a precedent where they can arrest you, pick you up off the ground and take you to jail, or take you worse, to these concentration camps. Y'all know there's concentration camps out here in America, right? Somebody's getting paid for that. This is an economic benefit to somebody. So they don't want you to win. So it's like, well, why would they get rid of all the jobs? Well, why would they introduce AI? Because they can make more money this way. It's like, well, if we just put everybody on the thing, if they don't do what we say, we turn the money off, then we put them in the thing. Now they force labor and we get paid off all of that. Like Kanye done told y'all before he went crazy. You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to transcend. Like, we are the saviors. Like, everybody who's here, who comes here, who does the work in the dollhouse, who's listening on the WhatsApp and doing all the things, people who just met me now, streaming or whatever. When I say, like, for our family, like people who the light bulb comes on for us, that we got to turn around and create a path that can save the people in our family that we're connected to. And then the light bulb comes on for them, and then they can go and help somebody. So I got to shine this light bright enough and make enough of an impact on you so you can go back and create a path so people can come out, because nobody's coming to save us. Okay? We gotta save ourselves, in the sense of doing this work, going within, tapping into some assets and some resources and building community. So we're not by ourselves. We're not left with nothing when this system, the institutions that we've been dependent on disappear. Okay. So we have to transcend this whole capitalistic thing. Okay. And that's why I spent the last 2 days telling us that we have to flip our mind. We don't live by the little, I don't even carry cash no more, so I can't hold up a piece of paper, but we don't live by these little dollars. They're about to crash the dollar anyway. Okay. We live by the energy. And our ancestors used to understand that. Like in Ubuntu and community-based societies, which is in contrast to what America is an individualistic society, right? Back in the day, before the invention of capitalism, okay, before this modern version of capitalism, before 1492, the majority of the world, we lived in these community-based societies. We lived by our individual contribution to the whole. So what that means is when I do something for you in a society where there's integrity and honor, I do something for you, I don't expect anything of you. We got to bring that forward to our business. When I give value the way that I do, I'm detached from that outcome. I'm not like, well, I done this, so you need to pay me $17,000. No. I have detached my energy. When I give to you, it is given freely. Where do you think the term Indian giver comes from? Because when they came here, they came with another, this is our land, by the way, but when they came here and engaged with the indigenous people, they came here with a different mindset. We were over here saying, hey, what y'all, they come, okay, you want some food? Okay, here we go. We were cool. But it became a phrase, Indian giver, for somebody to give you something and then try to take something back from you. Or give you something, but yeah, just kidding. Now I'm going to destroy your whole village. Like, you know what I mean? So in a society of honor, if I do something for you, I don't expect anything back from you. But energetically, if you're a person of honor and I do something for you, you're going to feel a sense of indebtedness. Like, you know how people be bowing, like on the movies and stuff. It's like, I'm in your debt. Like, it's not a real debt, but you know what I'm saying? Energetically, you want to do something for me in return. I give to you because it's who I am. I don't expect anything in return. And then you give to me for the same reason, because it's who you are. It's like you did this thing. There's reciprocity. That's nature. Okay. Sun rises, sun sets. The tide goes out, comes back. Like, everybody knows that. So if you're living in alignment with nature and your true nature, right? That's how you move. It's fair, it's balanced. Okay, follow me. So the reason why that makes sense in a society that's balanced is because when I win, everybody wins, right? What's in my best interest is also in the interest of the collective good. So everybody lives like that. So we all do good things for each other and everybody's winning. Like, it's a win-win. Now, contrast that with an individualistic, non-cooperative, capitalistic, dog eat dog, survival of the whatever society, like the one that we live in, the one we've all been programmed into. It's every man for himself. I got mine. You got to get your own. Remember that commercial? No, my brother. You got to get your own. All of that. That's what we learned here. That's what America's built on. That means they're winners, the owners, the people with the capital, they win. And everybody else becomes the losers. And that, unfortunately, is where we have all gotten our financial advice from. So that should tell you something right there. You already know. We're already off track. So just keep that in mind as I go through the rest of this, okay? So when I say wealth, the first thing that most people think about is like traditional wealth, like stocks and bonds and mutual funds and stuff like that. Okay, fine. So look, there was a podcast recently, one of these big ones. They got like 5-6 million subscribers and all that. And so for whatever reason, the topic of the day was the host went on ChatGPT and he asked the question, I wanted to give you the exact quote, what he said. Let me see if I got it. He typed this in the ChatGPT. he said, I'm a normal person who earns, pretend I'm a normal person who earns $50,000 a year. I want to be financially free in the future. Give me a one sentence answer based on all of the wisdom in all the world, taken from every expert in investing ever. And he hit go. And so he had a little expert there who, had written a book and is supposed to be a world-renowned expert in this thing. So he was like, I don't know what ChatGPT said, but I know the answer. And he was like, okay, so you go first. What's the answer? And the man said, the guest said, avoid debt, live on less than you earn, and invest the surplus. And then so he goes in ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, you know what it said? Everybody like, what did ChatGPT say? It said, he said, focus on saving, consistently invest in low-cost, broad-based index funds like the SP 500, live below your means, and allow compounding to work over time. So basically the same thing that the guest said. He was like, that's what I said. I said what I said. Matter of fact, the guest was like, I bet you they mined my book to get this answer. You know how they train the models on your information. He was like, okay, bet that. So then the host asked him a second question. ChatGPT said, how do I earn more? His guest said, you need to develop your skills. ChatGPT said, focus on high demand skills, seek opportunities for career advancement, explore side hustles, invest in assets that generate passive income like real estate or dividends. So same answer, right? Now here's the problem. That is wonderful advice if you already got some money. And if it wasn't the complete and total reset of the entire global financial system. Okay, if it was 1985, that's brilliant advice. And you already got some money and already got a little house that you inherited from your parents that's growing in value over time. In 1985, it was probably worth $40,000. The same house is probably worth $300,000 or $400,000 right now. You know what I'm saying? That was wonderful advice for that era. It's over with, though. That's the problem. So if you follow traditional advice like that, you don't have no money, you don't have any starting investment, you don't have the knowledge of like, okay, what about real estate? Okay, should I invest still in an index fund? Like all of these things. We don't grow up in environments where that knowledge is just like readily accessible to us because people around us are not moving like that. So that means Black people are iced out if you just follow traditional, air quote, wealth advice. They assume you already got money, you already got a good credit score, so you can go borrow some money. They assume you have access to capital markets and you're not being blocked out by discrimination. It assumes that you have a knowledge of when and where and how and what to invest. Like because your dad did it, now your dad's financial advisor becomes your financial advisor or whatever. You ask your uncle or whatever, right? That is the assumption. So if you're already not on that system, we got a problem. And more importantly, it assumes that you have the operating system, the internal mentality of a wealthy person. And 99.9% of people without money don't actually have that on the inside. It's a different approach to life. Okay. I heard a quote that rich people trust their vision and ignore their fears. Poor people trust their fears and avoid their vision. That's the difference. Because rich people would say, ooh, opportunity, vision comes. Oh, I could do such. I don't know how to do that. Well, I'm not sure if I have it. Well, guess what? I'll figure it out. They have an abundance mindset. Like, I'm going to meet somebody that's going to help me. I'm going to find some help. I'll figure it out as I go. Take one step. I could do this part. Is an abundance mindset versus, but I don't have what I need. Well, I've never done that before. Well, I'm not sure. Well, I feel nervous. Well, I don't know about being out front. Well, I'm not sure about what people gonna think. Well, I don't know what to say. Well, how am I what's gonna happen when I blow up? Then what's gonna happen? Like, that's a poverty mindset. Okay. We got to deal with the inner game of wealth first if we want to win the outer game. Okay. Yes, we need confidence. That's a good word to have for your word of the year. Shout out to Micaiah. We got to win this inner game first, because nobody's going to do this part for us. And again, you know about the lottery winners. I could pay everybody all the money right now. It will be gone in 18 months. Guaranteed. guaranteed for 99% of us. That show that they got me watching the American Gangsters, but it's like the black female edition. Listen, we better gangsters than them. Let me tell you something. These women, $20-50 million just making money on money, just crime. But like outside with it. And instead of investing, instead of buying houses and land and all types of things. I mean, they bought big houses, but you know what I'm saying. Instead of doing some kind of strategy, we have a consumer mindset. So they had most fabulous everything of all time. And then by the time they go to jail, and then, the state get through taking the money, and then they come out of jail after 10 years, and guess what? Now they start a nail shop, or they start some kind of smoothie, I'm not kidding, juice bar or whatever. We 4 seasons in, every single one of them, same pattern. $35 million, $100 million, this. And they go run through all the money. And then they got to start it and try to do like a normal business. They don't even dig and hole in the backyard anymore. At least, our grandmothers would have done that. They buried some money in the ground. They don't even do that because we don't have it in here. If it's not in here, y'all, we can't hold it. So I got to help you to do this part, and then we can hold it. Let me see what we got in the comments right now. It says, there are less smart people out here that are doing the work simply because they are confident. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's 100% facts, okay? They're not smarter than you. They don't have the skill. They don't know what they're doing either. But they're like, you know what? I can figure it out, though. Or I can call somebody. Somebody know how to do it. And they find somebody who's been where they're trying to go. And they learn from that person. So I'm also trying to model that for you guys. I'm doing it. I'm modeling that for you guys. Because we have to normalize getting a coach. We have to normalize investing in ourselves. We have to normalize in developing new skills. We have to normalize not just, I know I need to get on YouTube and I don't know what to do. First of all, there are thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube about how to succeed on YouTube. So if you're not spending time, if you don't have it on your calendar to show up and research and study YouTube, then that means you're not serious about being on YouTube. So this is an identity issue. We're not aligned. We're not aligned. And then if you research and spend any significant time and you're in tune with your intuition, you will be able to tell who's giving you good information versus which one is garbage. So then you zoom in on those teachers and you filter the rest of it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get in the game for real to be able to make progress, like intentionally. I want to grow with intention. You know what I'm saying? I want to do it on purpose. I want to be outside, not just hoping something happens to me, but I want to be, defining when and how, not necessarily when and how, but I want to feel like I'm intentionally driving towards my destiny, if that makes sense. And we have to normalize that because otherwise we're just like floating and it's not looking good. You don't want to be floating in this water when that thing hit. You don't want to be out here floating. You want to be anchored on the ground somewhere with your family posted up, building the next thing. We are leaders of the new world. We don't want to be out here floating when they crash everything. Okay. So wealth is an inner game. So all of this, like, should I invest in this? And what about the real estate? What, even crypto, honestly, you can find 10,000 YouTube videos on that stuff. Avoiding debt, living below your means, basic investing, one-on-one. And that's cool. But if nobody's telling you what to do internally to prepare for such, to create a channel for that, it's not going to work. It starts internally, not externally. And I'm not going to let this go because we have to have this fundamental. I have to change your beliefs about money and where it comes from and what it is. Okay. So the thing, if you ever spend any time around wealthy people, I told you I've been mentored by 4 billionaire families. And honestly, I counted the other day. I think it's actually 5, but let's just go with 4. They have something that we don't have, we don't grow up with. I have it, but we don't grow up with it. Okay. It's intangible. Remember when I don't know if y'all pay attention to fashion at all, but like in the 80s, the W's used to be really big about wearing like big logo branded luxury stuff. Like all the big bags and stuff that black people carry now. In the 80s, that was like the ultimate flex for white people, for people who, you know, making $1 million a year on Wall Street and whoever these people are. And they had the big logos of everything. Then the middle class, you started wearing it, the knockoffs, you know, you started being able to find it on any street corner and stuff like that. They were mimicking it. So you know what? They shifted. Real rich people now, they do what they call quiet luxury. They just got like the most exquisite clothing, but you don't know who made it, ain't no logos. It's like if you know type energy. And they go into all these exclusive spaces. That's why they got country clubs and they got, you know, all the little golf places and all the little the party, the yachts and the this and the that, the lake house and whatever. You know, you always in an exclusive space. That's why they price stuff so high, because they want to keep the space exclusive. If you have to ask how much it is, then you can't afford it. You know, all of that energy. But I'll give you another example. This is important now. It's like, I don't know if your high school was like mine, but I mean, I was very popular in high school, so it's hard. But I know how high school is for some people. And like, if let's say you're not cool, let's say you're not in the cool crowd at high school. It doesn't matter how cool you try to be when, you know, like when everybody's in the cafeteria and you try to dap people up and you crack a jokes or whatever. These kids who are considered the cool kids, they're having a party at somebody's house that you didn't even know about. You were not invited to. They all were there last weekend. You just came here on Monday and trying to be cool in the cafeteria. Like, it's a whole other world of stuff going on. Just like these rooms I've been telling you about where wealthy people are actually having these conversations and actually making the deals that we see when they announce it in public. It's happening at the house. Okay. So no matter how much you try to, you know, show up as if, you know, fake it till you make it energy externally, the people who are on that frequency for real or living that life for real, they already know. They already know. You got it or you don't. You either got the ease. It's ease. It's ease. It's like we live off this energy. We're not moving like everybody else is moving. We're not like, oh my God, I got to go into this room. Oh, I got this meeting. Oh, I hope that. I own every room I walk into. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's ease. Okay. So the thing about it though is you cannot fool the universe. So you have to hold wealth internally in order for it to remain externally. So if you're constantly in a tight, like that anxiety I keep talking about, you're like in a tight, restricted state. It's like you're trying to be something. It's like, I know I need to do this, but Yeah, I know I want to show up like this, but I don't want to be in public. And I need to do this, but if you're constantly showing up like that, the universe knows. And the universe is just a mirror. It's just going to reflect back to you that same tight, restricted energy. You got a little bit, but not for real. You got something happen one day, but then 3 weeks ago, nothing happens. Like it's going to be that, because that's how you are. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. So I believe that I've proven my point. If you are feeling like that, you're living in energetic debt. Okay. You have an impulse, something that aligns with the greatest, highest version of yourself. You have an idea. You're like, okay, this is what I know I need to do. You might have a whole plan. You might have a coach. Somebody done gave you a whole set of coordinated activities. You know, you wrote the vision down. You had a moment and you just filling up all the stuff in your notebook. Oh my God, we could do that. We could do this. We could do that. It's going to be amazing. Blah, 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 blah. You got a whole set of activities that align with this destiny that you said you wanted. But then you don't do it. You don't put it on your calendar. You don't show up for it. It just goes in your notebook. Y'all, I found a notebook. I thought I had lost this bag because we moved and we're renovating the house. There's a lot going on. I thought I lost this particular notebook. I went back in here and I was like, oh, I'm on track. Because the same thing, I had an idea a year and a half ago and I wrote it down. And then this morning I had the same idea came back. It's time to do that thing with the cards. It's a different set of cards. And I go in there, I'm looking for something totally different. And I'm like, oh, my notebook is here. And I open the notebook, and right there, I had already written out the same plan for the car. I said, see, I'm in alignment. I'm moving in that direction. You know what I mean? So we have all these ideas and we put it off. We don't do it. And here's the problem with that. My grandmother used to tell me, she would say, when God wants to make you wealthy, she said, baby, he don't send you no bag of money. He sends you a person. And I used to be like, well, what do you mean by that? But I get it now, child. Because, the problem is we watch too much TV, and, the story about, Jesus found a piece of gold in the mouth of the fish and all this kind of stuff. That's designed to illustrate a principle to you that everything you need is going to come to you. But we're not supposed to be walking around looking for the fish to jump out the creek back there to spin around in the yard 3 times and drop some bay leaves and stuff. That's not. We're supposed to plug into a system, right? So here's the problem. If we don't do, when impulse comes and an idea comes and we don't ever work on it, it doesn't show up on our calendar, we don't move forward on it. So you have an idea or an insight, a set of skills, a habit that turns into your character, a disposition, your ability to help and value people. Be of value, be of service to people, just because you're just living your life, right? Then you meet somebody. You're either going to meet people that are going to help you develop those gifts and talents to make them, better, make it stronger, or you're going to meet people who need what you have and are willing to exchange value for value. That's it. This is what life literally is. You're either going to meet somebody who's going to help you develop and expand those talents and gifts and the things you have to offer that value, or you're going to meet someone who needs what you have and is willing to exchange value for it. And this is, if I can get you to make this shift, my work here is done. We're still going to be done by 3:30, y'all. I'm doing good. But you got to remember, you don't need money. The people who have the money need you. I'm saying it again. You don't need money. The people who have the money right now, they're out here in the world. They need you. And the minute you realize that and start showing up as that, then you'll meet the people. They will exchange money. You'll have what you need, and they'll have what they need. Why? Because nature says things go into balance. If they're out of balance, that's because you're in energetic debt. If people are not bringing you money right now for your value, that means you're not taking some of the packages that the universe has put on your porch. You're not opening the package and doing what you need to do and developing that thing and making it ready and giving it back to the people. Okay, so think about Facebook. We talk about it. I think Meta might be canceled, but the jury's out. And for 4 years, 5 years, I think, he didn't have no revenue. They didn't even know how they were going to make money. They had no plan for how to generate revenue with this idea. But you know what he had? People. First, all of Harvard got on there. When I was leaving, he was coming in. Then all the Ivy Leagues got on there. And then it became, you had to be in college and have a .edu email address to get on there. And it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. So because he had people using his tool, it was valuable, even though he didn't have a revenue model. So the investors, the people with the money, were Peter Thiel, Lord, were writing him checks, even though he didn't have a revenue model, because he had community. He had people checking for him. So it is more valuable for you to spend this time gathering a community of people around you and your work and your brand and your brilliance and what you do than it is even to collect money for those people. Let's say you, because you have to start with the people that you have proximity to. Okay. So let's say I started doing this coaching. This is a great example. I started doing this because I was asked to. I mean, I've done it for the U.S. Small Business Administration and all that, but everywhere I have shown up and taught entrepreneurship, I was asked to come do it. Every group, the group that we have, it grew organically. But now that I have receipts, I've done this for years, right? I got thousands of people that I've coached over the years. Now, one of the largest companies on planet Earth is trying to write me a check. Not even, they already tried that. They tried to write me a check to start sending y'all ads in the dollhouse. Somebody offered me a 6-figure check to do that. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. But I mean, they want to pay me because I have a track record of working with this many people. So it's like, if she could do that over there, what could she do with our platform? They want me to come and do for their platform what I've already done, just organically being genuine with people. You understand what I'm saying? So the people who already have, like, I'm talking about established people, wealthy people who have money and resources and all that stuff, you know what they know? The thing I say every day, all financial capital is social capital. There's no money flowing if you don't have no people using your product, using your service, pulling up at the thing. If you don't have people in the world who are still aspiring to get a fancy iPhone, or to get a G-Wagon, or a Rolls Royce, one day I'm gonna have, or to live in this neighborhood or whatever. If you don't have people who are looking and checking for you, your money, even if somebody writes you a check, it's gonna run out. They understand. So people with money and resources need access to people, and they will ultimately pay you to get access. So that's why the creator economy exists, because somebody took a free tool and they were like, oh, I'm just going to get on here and talk about what I want to talk about. And did that to the point where they became consistent. They became known for that. And now they have an audience. Brands started coming and saying, oh, look, can we pay you for access to your audience? So that is a business model. You can literally not charge the people, like Facebook is free, right? And then charge other people for access to the people. That's a business model. But you can just as easily have a small group of people that you really are serving and really are providing value for, so much so it's well defined, so much so that they're willing to pay you in exchange for access to that value. Either way, you get what you need. But it all starts with understanding that this is an internal game. It comes from the inside out. All financial capital is social capital. And as long as you don't act like that and don't move like that, they can continue to control you. Okay, so here's how you know if you're in energetic debt, and this is how we're going to get out. You have this internal GPS. Your intuition is speaking. It's guiding you on what you need to do, where you need to go, and all the things, right? And at any given moment, it's telling you what to do. Brilliant ideas. Like today, the reason why I found this notebook, because my intuition was like, go in the closet and get this thing. And I'm like, I don't really need that thing right now. Like, I'll get it later. Like, I don't need it. And intuition, go in the closet and get it, go in that bag and get the thing. I go in there, I found like 5 things I didn't know I had in there. I've been looking for. I'm like, ow. Your intuition is always right. Okay. So at any given moment, or any moment in your somebody did that when we did the first procrastination boot camp. I don't think some of y'all might know Rose. She's a truck driver, not Roshan, that's on Thursdays, the other one. And she went in there and cleaned up her back room and literally found like a course that she had paid for a couple of years ago, started doing day trading, and the next 2 weeks it made $18,000. Just because follow intuition, do what you need to do, go in there. Y'all better stop walking by these piles in your house. Like, energetically, we need to fix it. But anyway, so your internal GPS is telling you what you need to do. Go here, do this, go that. Brilliant ideas, opportunities. Or you might meet somebody. You just randomly chilling at the airport, waiting on your flight and all of this. And then, you meet this person. Oh my God, call me. Like, give me like, they give you their card. And then you don't call them back. Right? We leave those opportunities, those ideas, those open doors undeveloped, kind of like unopened packages from Amazon sitting on your front step. Okay, so now here's where the debt comes in, because we started the process of aspiring for something. We're yearning for it. We said this is our goal. We done told everybody this is what we're gonna do. However, you're not showing up in the corresponding energy and the coordinated actions to match what the unseen realm has brought you, this idea, this opportunity, whatever. So it's not matching. There's a gap. That gap right there is the debt that I'm talking about. It's energetic. And that, you know what fills that gap? A sense of dread, anxiety, overwhelm. I feel behind. I don't know what to do. Now I'm getting lost. I got so many ideas. I'm not sure. Da, 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 da. That's what goes in that gap. Because we don't have the capacity to hold what we said we wanted, what we saw when we had that flash of insight, that inspiration, that moment, that spark, that's light. Light is information. And you saw it, you're like, whoa. And then you shrink back down to your old frequency. So now you're not holding the energy. That's like feeding a 7-course meal to a 4-year-old. The baby can't eat all this food. The baby don't know what to do. The baby not even gonna sit down at the table long enough for you to bring out the 7 courses. It's gonna go to waste. They're not prepared. They're not set up for this. Okay. Now, how do we manage that? I taught y'all rather the other day. We got to face and deal with our own internal IRS. If we don't tax ourselves in this way, we're gonna get taxed out here in where it counts. Okay. So if you find that you're going through this, you're either having problems and you need to realign your identity, which is the 9 frequencies we talked about. That's that required video that you can go back and watch that I put in the notes in the chat. You either need to realign your identity or own the responsibility of these coordinated actions that you have that come with this new identity, or you need to establish systems. That's IRS, identity responsibility systems. If you don't have systems, that it will be too difficult for you to continue this long term. So if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna talk to 5 people a day or whatever, and you actually go and talk to 5 people a day, but you don't have a system of where to put that after you talk to those people, or you don't have a system for how you're showing up and talk to those people, and you just depending on how you feel and your emotions, that's where we get to burnout. Notice you never heard me say, I'm just tired, y'all, I'm burned out. Because I don't get burned out, because my system, burnout would be like, I'm trying to go from Atlanta to LA in a Flintstone car, and I'm running, my feet are running. Yeah, you're going to get tired. But I'm not doing, I'm just in the car. The car is doing the work. The system is supposed to carry all that weight for you guys. So the big 5 and doing all of that is designed to help you to hold the energy of this new identity over the long term. So if you don't shift your identity, it breaks down. If you don't take responsibility and showing up for these coordinated actions, it breaks down. And if you don't lean on the systems to do the heavy lifting for you, it breaks down. So these things aren't optional. So the only reason you wouldn't do that is if you think that it's outside of you. So it goes back to the first truth, okay, the first principle. Wealth is an internal game. It's internal. And the moment you stop believing that, you're going to break down in the IRS area. And now you're going into a downward spiral. So I know I made myself clear. But more importantly, this is energetic debt. Now you owe internally, which means you're breaking the first rule of wealth. Remember, because I just said, the man said, avoid debt, live below your means, and invest and let the thing compound. So you just broke the first rule of wealth because you're in debt. Energetic debt. Okay. So 3D realm, when they say avoid debt, that means don't borrow money you can't pay back, don't live on credit cards. I'm not talking about that. In the unseen realm, I'm saying stop creating energetic debt by ignoring your intuition. You can no longer afford to live like that anymore. It's not an option. If you want wealth, if you want abundance, if you want all these things to work out for you, you want to be living in this version of yourself that you see in your head, you cannot allow energetic debt to be a part of your lifestyle anymore. So when you have an idea, an impulse, a nudge from your higher self, and you don't act on it, you're creating debt. Every time somebody shows up in your life who's supposed to help you or is supposed to, you're supposed to help, and you don't engage, you're creating debt. Every time you have an opportunity to do your big 5 and do what you need to do, create your content and be outside and have these conversations and whatever it is, and you don't do it, you're creating debt. And that's like an owing. The universe has brought you this opportunity that you did not reciprocate. You owe your future self. You owe the people who are out here waiting for you. And that debt compounds over time with interest. The interest on energetic debt is that anxiety, that overwhelm, that feeling that, and you know what it does? It makes people quit. It makes people quit. So if you don't want to suffer from that anymore, if you don't want to just keep grinding down and down and down until you quit, what you need to do, pay your internal taxes. That's that IRS. Do the thing that your intuition is telling you to do. Show up as in the identity of the person that you said you are becoming, right? Do the 5 things. Do the work every single day. Honor when you get an idea, at least write it down. At least have a time on your calendar where you go back and read the stuff in your journal that you wrote down. Work on it. Take some steps towards it. Do some research on it. Open the packages, okay? And stop piling on new debt. So I think I made myself clear with that. There's 2 more though. Live below your means is rule number 2. We're building wealth internally. And I mean, when I say that, I mean protect your energy. So in the 3D realm, if I say live below your means, that would be spending less than you earn, right? And saving the difference. Okay. But in the unseen, the inner game, what I mean is, we say spending time. This is very important. Stop spending time on frivolous endeavors and things that to make you feel better in this present moment at the expense of your future self. Because every time you do that, you just shifted your identity and your belief back to, it's okay for me to do that. I just need to feel like this. And my money, my opportunity, my whatever is going to come from somewhere outside of me. Because if you really believe that it's coming from within, you wouldn't ignore what your intuition is telling you just to make yourself feel better in the moment. You would rise to the identity and get and regulate your nervous system so you could go ahead and do what you need to do in this moment. Okay, so let me give you some examples. If you continue to break your diet over months and years, and then 2 years from now, opportunity comes for you to be on TV, you won't be ready. You'll be self-conscious. You'll be worried about your weight. You won't be able to be present in the moment because you'll be, oh my God, how do I look? Because you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing 2 years ago when intuition and spirit was telling you, I need you to show up like this. I need you to do it like this. You refuse to do it. Okay. Another example. If you continue to live like a single person, you just all the way out, all the way outside with it. You just, I'm grown, could do what I want to do type energy. If you continue to do that, when spirit is starting to lead you to start moving differently, you will not be ready when your spouse arrives. I'm in somebody's business now. If you continue to spend, every time you get an extra $250, you go down to the Juicy Crab and the Hookah Lounge, or you go to the Ulta, whatever your thing is. You go to Ulta Beauty, Sephora, and you just buy to make yourself feel better in the moment. I deserve it. I was working hard. I'm going to do that. If you keep doing that, you will not have any money set aside when the next investment opportunity comes, or a chance to get your coach or invest in a new skill or anything like that. You will never have it because you continue to not do what's in the best interest of your future self. Okay. If you don't work on your book a little bit every day, till you have it done, it's done. It's like, I don't know what to do with this, but I have it here. It's ready. I have a draft. Then 2 years later, you don't do that. So you don't do the work. Then 2 years from now, your college friend calls you. They're just talking about this opportunity. I work for, we just need some published authors to come and do this and that. It's exactly aligned with what you were supposed to do, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Latrice said it's a whole word. Yes, it is. I'm in your business today. Listen, you knew what you were supposed to do, and you didn't do it. Guess what? You're missing the opportunity. So how do we reverse that? We live below our means in the inner game. What I mean by that is not taking that extra $500, $1,000 you finally earned and immediately going and spending it on a treat or vacation, talking about I earned it, talking about I need a break and all of that. When you know for sure that your future self has been waiting on that money, you said, if I ever get this much money, I'm going to take this class. If I ever get this much money, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then when you get the money, you go to nobody goes to the mall anymore, but you go to Amazon. Or you go on a trip or whatever. Your future self has been waiting on that money to leverage it and do something that will catapult you forward. Okay. So living below your means allows you, it means you're holding the energy, you're protecting that. So you don't do, just because you can do, don't mean you do. That's what when I say live below your means, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Okay. Nobody talks like this in entrepreneurship circles, but that's why don't nobody make no money. Okay. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So guess what that means? You know what that means? You could do whatever you want to do. You are human. You can crash out. You can feel all of your feelings. You can give your energy to doubt and fear and worry and anxiety. You can freak out. You can wait for somebody else to come and do things for you. You can complain because there ain't nobody doing what you want them to do. You can do that. You have the right to do that. You have the means to do that. So to choose not to do that, that is the energetic equivalent of living below your means. Got it? Okay. We're building internal wealth. I know that was profound. It was. Let me tell you, that's what James Baldwin calls the conundrum of life. This is in that book, The Fire Next Time. Because you can do all this stuff. You can do whatever you want to do. But you remember yesterday when I said, when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions. And then that James Baldwin quote, he says, it seems to me that you ought to decide to earn one's death by confronting with passion the conundrum of life. What does he mean by that? When I was in college, I wrote a book, a novel, whatever. And one of the titles that I used, it was called Dying Empty. And I got that from somebody, it was a preacher or somebody my mom used to listen to. And he would say, the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, because it's people with all these unwritten books and all this, unwritten symphonies and, all kind of inventions and all this stuff that they never did. And they died with it. And I had this thought, and I still do, that I believe we're supposed to die empty. We're supposed to, everything we got is supposed to go out here into the energy. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose for being here. So he said, this is a James Baldwin, but he said, earn your death. When by the time you get to the end, child, by the time we talk about legacy and all the great grandchildren are circling around, listen, you should have stood up. There's a conundrum. This is the conundrum of life. You can live like everybody else. You can be regular and normal. You can just kind of hope that something happens to you and, oh, I don't know, and, oh, I have an opportunity, but you can do that. But you also can go within to the part can nobody see what's going on. Nobody understands why you moving differently. You could do that too. You can go in the cocoon. You have a choice. That's the conundrum. So I want you to face that conundrum with all the passion and all the intensity and all the commitment. I'm showing up for me. I'm showing up for this dream. I don't know what it means for you. I don't know what the ancestors, what your family had to sacrifice for you to get where you are right now. But I had a moment. I had some moments. You mess with the wrong ninja, it'll mess you up. I went through some seasons of life, right? And one of the things that brought me out of that was I had to think about my mother, my grandmother, both sides, my great grandmother, like the things that these women were able to do. And they had none of the freedoms, that we had now, because they're gone. That it's over with, right? First Amendment gone. Don Lemon, that was the end of the First Amendment. But we'll talk about that on Substack. Like, it's a 5-alarm fire right now. Like, but anyway, if we don't do this, we're not gonna make it. So that's why I'm so focused. Okay. The things that they have done and the path that they laid for me to be where I am, I not only have a right or an opportunity. I have a responsibility. And that's what I mean when I say responsibility. To stand and I am my mother's daughter, right? I am the version of myself that I know that I'm capable of. And I have to show up like that every day. Don't matter that it's hard. Don't matter that this happened. There's 7 Ds, death, divorce, downsizing, and debt, and all type of disasters and things happen to people. It happens. But even in the face of that, we still have to rise. That's the conundrum of life, because you can crash out. You can keep running the meatballs and alcohol and just, hope you meet somebody. Hope they're not a criminal if you met them, because 2 years ago at that same conference, you would have met a criminal. Diddy was the keynote, the largest Black entrepreneurship conference, whatever. Okay, you can do that, or you can go within. Okay, so you have the capacity to live low, to crash out, to complain, to be in doubt, to be in fear, to keep freezing and not doing the thing that you're supposed to do, and you're like, oh, I can't do that. You're supposed to do is like, oh, I'm not ready yet. You're supposed to do it is dot. You can do that. But if you choose not to, if you rise, if you reset your identity and start seeking expansion, choose to live above that, beyond that. That's what I mean. You have the capacity to just crash out and be normal like everybody else. Energetically, I want you to live below your means. That's how we build wealth. Okay. In the third rule, the man said, invest your surplus over time, allowing it to compound, right? So that means we need to be giving something in order to receive something back. Y'all got time? Y'all want to go 30 minutes? You want me to do this tomorrow? She said she got time. Okay, one person got time, then I got time. We're gonna try to make it done, get done by 4 o'clock. What we got? Yes, get rid of the consumer mindset. Be a producer. Good to see y'all over on the stream. I think we've officially reached moderator time. I need a moderator on my live streams. But anyway, good to see you, Tish. Shout out to Tish, y'all. And shout out to you guys who are on the Zoom as well. Anyway, so rule number 3, invest your surplus over time. You got to put something out in the energetic field. Making investments when we do that, if we want to receive something back. Okay? Because everything is upside down. Up is down, if you want something outside, you got to go within. All right? I got a little lesson on that. I think I'm going to drop it in the chat when we get off in the WhatsApp group. Everything is backwards. If you flip it, you're gonna be right. Okay. So I'll break that down. So give in order to receive, right? So in the 3D realm, that means you already got some money somewhere. You got an inheritance, or you have some savings, or you have a 401k. You already have to have a job. You have to have some money already. And you take what you save and you invest it in assets that compound over time. That's why it's so important that our people get the message that I'm teaching now, because if we don't do this inner work, we're going to always be shut out of that system. We don't have anything to start with. What you mean invest? So then we start running after all these programs, no money down, real estate, going to seminars in the hotel. Why is always in the hotel, the little cold hotel ballroom thing, and then they want to sell you something for the low price of $2,579. I will give you this whole system so you can go out here and do this investment. Like, if I had $2,579, like, what are we talking about? Anyway, no more hustle. They can't hustle us anymore once we have this information. Okay, so in the 3D realm, they want you to take what you've saved and invest it in some assets, which I want you to do that too. But first, we got to get to the cash flow so we can use that cash to buy these assets and then leverage said assets to have that lifestyle so that we don't have to think about money just like the rich people I was talking about. So then we can make moves and go head on, because they got compounds. I'm telling you, 2 wings, same bird. If you think, this is going to my Substack, because it take me too long. But if you think that, all we got to do, if we make it to everybody mad now, as soon as we get to the midterms, it's over. The Democrats coming back. If you really believe that, then you don't understand the significance of why the entire FBI and the National director of whatever, security, whatever, intelligence, came to Fulton County, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and went in that place and stole all the ballots, all of them, not copies, took the ballots for 2020. Because y'all remember that time when he was calling, talking about, I need some votes, and call down there and tell them people in Georgia to find me 11,000 such and so votes. And the man stood his ground and said no. And then Fannie Willis, and he got indicted, and the whole thing went down. Y'all remember that? They just took the evidence. So you know what they're gonna do? I'm tell you right now. I'm not a prophet. I'm a prophet of the past. I'm a historian, Harvard trained historian and economist. And I'm telling you, their plan is to go up there and then the FBI man, who used to be a podcaster, mind you, how do you become the head of the FBI? How's anybody taking any of this seriously? But anyway, he's going to come and say, we found some irregularities. He's going to take the Venezuela man that's in the same jail as Diddy and the Ghislaine Maxwell lady, same jail. He's going to go in there and say, I'll let you out, but I need you to say that there was some fraud down there and that Venezuela was involved. And he'd be like, okay, what you want me to sign? Okay, cool, thank you. And he going to go ahead on with some money and go to an island, and they're going to be fine. And then they're going to say, we have evidence that there was fraud in the 2020 election. And then this is where it gets worse. Then he's going to say, which means I won in 2020, which means this is my third term as a president, which means you can't tell me that I can't run again because I've already been in more than twice, which means we got to sort this out. We got to sort this out, because if there was fraud here, then there was fraud everywhere. We got to check all the voting things. We got to do everything. They already asked all the states for the voting records. Y'all think I'm making this up? We got a big problem. We got fraud. We got foreign nationals involved in our fraud, in our voting thing. So then he's going to call Congress, his Republican-controlled Congress, and say, because they can't get rid of the election, but what they can do is change the date of the election. He could postpone elections indefinitely. And then they're like, oh, they would never do that. Oh my God, nobody would allow that. They're going to sue, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what it's going to do? They're going to sue, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court that's also controlled by Republicans, who've also done everything else this man said I'm telling y'all. And then when we're like, oh no, that's not going, no, and we start protesting, then the military that's already outside, they got an office in College Park, y'all. They done moved in. They're in every city now. They're going to shut it down. And that's what's coming. That's what's coming. So we don't have time to play these games out here. So we need to go within. And you need to be strong enough so you can go talk to your family, and y'all need to have a plan. We need a plan. You need some money. You need a plan. So in the unseen, investing means making inputs into the energetic field, knowing that anything you receive is going to come through another person. Y'all remember what my grandmother said? It's not growing on trees. You're not going to find a bag of money. I mean, you could, but that's not a plan. That's not a system, right? We're not looking for that. The value, the things that you receive are going to come through another person. So you got to put inputs. When you put something out, the ripple effect says it's coming back to you. Okay, so you can't just hoard your energy, sit at the house, think about your ideas, and play on Canva all day. You have to put it out into the quantum field. Biggest church in the world, one of them. Y'all know that. Those people, I know them as well as I know my own family. Started out with 8 people in a cafeteria. And half of them he was related to. But he put the energy out. And it's a coordinate. It's an energetic signature. And anybody who's on that same frequency, I don't know how, I don't know who, I don't know where, the whole air traffic controller of it all, they will find their way to you. But if you don't put it out, what are we doing? We got to start the process. You got to give, and you shall receive. Okay? So you have to create content that's broadcasting your brilliance. You have to have those conversations that's activating that inner circle of 50 people that you need to be constantly adding people to your list, people that actually know you, that if you send a message to them, they know who you are and they will respond to you, right? You got to be giving value And we do that in a framework with the Afro method. It's designed to communicate your value, to give them an example or a framework of what it would be like to work with you. You're giving people value through like recommendations and things like that. You could do a lot of that with your words. You don't have to always have free product that you're giving people. And then we're giving value by we're investing rather by showing up consistently, making sure we're doing the big 5. We're doing our reps and doing our prep. So when we go and talk to people, we're present in the moment. Like that's an investment into the energetic field. And you should be doing that every day. And then just like compound interest in the stock market, that energy is going to start compounding in the quantum realm. Okay. And the more you give, the more it comes back. The more you give, the more it comes back. The more you give, the more it comes back. It's like a chain reaction. And then all of a sudden, boom, I can see it. Now it's right in front of me. I can actually see it, touch it, feel it, take, where did it come from? I just told you. Okay. And it doesn't just come, it's not a one-to-one. You're not an employee. You're not a consumer anymore. It comes back through other people. So if I got free will and they've got free will, I do what I'm supposed to do, and somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, that doesn't change what I get. But that means that now this person, okay, they didn't do it. So now we got to bring in another person and get them in the queue to go through the until it finds its way to me. So you are supposed to hold the energy until it comes back to you. The client could find you 6 months later because you posted this one video yesterday. Okay. The partner reaches out to you because somebody in your inner circle who hears how you're talking and seeing how you're moving, and they end up referring them when they go on a business trip and they tell them what you do, and then you get a phone call. The opportunity that lands in your inbox because you've been showing up consistently, and they're like, I've been watching you. You know how many people have said that to me? Some of big, huge companies. We've been watching you. And now when they get ready, then they want to reach out. Okay, that's a return on the energy that you've invested. But if you're holding and hoarding your energy, you're not posting, you're not having conversations, you're not showing up, you're not doing none of that. You're not investing. So why would you expect to get a return? It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Okay, so we're at the end. And let me tell you how this game, I'm talking about entrepreneurship is a game, life, the game of life, how it actually works. It's going to change your business, relationships, whatever. Okay. You guys probably have heard, some of you, of the prisoner's dilemma. They had a tournament. Okay. There was a political scientist back in the 80s, and he set up like this experiment. He called it a tournament. So he invited mathematicians and economists and all type of people to he was trying to make a game, like, how you code a video game, and he told them to submit different lines of code, like the game is supposed to be like, put the code in and tell the players of the game what to do, and then it's going to run your algorithm, and we'll see who wins the game. Okay, but they only had 2 choices. It's either we're going to cooperate, we're opponents. We're either going to cooperate with each other or we're going to betray each other. Because there's 2 people in prison. That was the experiment, right? 2 people in prison. We're trying to get out. But I don't know you. You don't know me. So I don't know if I can trust you or not. So we can either cooperate or we will betray each other. So I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know if I say, okay, man, okay, when the guards put the lights out, then we're going to go over here, Then as soon as I get ready to do that, then you go and tell the guard what I said. I don't know. And that's the world we live in, you guys. Because we're in a capitalistic society, an individualistic society, because we are not living in Ubuntu anymore. People keep asking this question, how did they take us over? How did they take over our land? Because we don't move like that. We weren't thinking somebody will come in here and do all this crazy stuff. We don't think like that. It's a different worldview. Somebody looking there, smiling in your face, and be like, oh yeah, oh my God, this is amazing. As soon as you leave it, just kill your child and take your stuff and burn down your village. Like, who does that? We weren't thinking like that. So you've got 2 operating systems. You can either have cooperation or betrayal. But because there's no trust, that's where fiat money came from. We don't know. I don't know you. So I can't just be freely giving what I got, because you'll take what I got and take me too and not give anything back. There's no trust. So instead, I come as an employee, and then we make an agreement, and you pay me this money, and in exchange, I give you this service, and then I go over here, and then the man who has the house, I don't know you. So okay, instead of you taking my word, I give you this money, and you give me my house. Like, we had to create a system, artificial trust, because we don't know each other. We don't trust each other. Okay. So if you both cooperate in this game that he's setting up, you both will win. But you don't have like, I'm just like fabulously wealthy and you have nothing. We both win, just like we're both good. We're good. So we're basically equals. We're equals. We're equals. The age of Aquarius, equality is coming back, y'all. The reason why they're going crazy is because they don't like that. They want to be on the top. They want everybody else to be serfs and slaves, and they want the world to stay that way. Okay. So if you both cooperate, you both win, but we're both equals. Okay. If we both just betray each other, just go crazy, we all lose. But if one person cooperates, but the other person is evil and betrays, capitalism, the betrayer wins big, 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 big. Billionaires winning. We buying islands. We flying around. All of our kids go to private school. They learn how to ski when they 5, and they, doing all the stuff. They winning private jets, everything. But everybody else, total destruction. People and the planet, totally burned. Walk away with nothing. Okay, so they simulated this. This is my point. They created a simulation of this game, and he asked all these people to submit, how would you program this game? What moves would you make to try to win this game? Okay, so most people would think common sense, the way we've been programmed, just go out here and get yours, you know what I'm saying? Betray everybody every time, just take what you can, don't trust nobody, get in there and get out, like Survivor, right? If y'all watch Survivor, just go in here and, be fake, do this one, and then turn around. But when he simulated this game over 200 rounds, like think of like 200 years, we're about to be 250 years old as a nation. You know who won? What algorithm won the game? Not the selfish one, not the ruthless one, not even the smartest one. It was a program that does tit for tat. It's a mirror. So you start, the first move in the game is to cooperate or to give something positive, something of value. And then whatever the player does, you reflect that back to them. So I'm going to tell you what I mean by this, because it's going to help you. Okay. So you cooperate. So I put a cooperation out. You cooperate with me again, I cooperate with you. You betrayed me, now you're going to get some resistance the next time. Okay. Then you come back and cooperate. Okay, cool. That's it. If we take the emotion out of it, we just looking for the energy. So when you're looking for partnerships, potential people, opportunities, you're talking to humans, you're doing the thing, and it's like, I gave you value. If they're like, no, or they don't respond or whatever, okay, cool. I bounce off. We're detached. We're moving on. We don't chase nobody down. We're moving on. If I put some value, I put something out, and you're like, yeah, I like that. They reciprocate. Okay, and you do it again. You have to have another touch point of value. Not like, okay, now I need some money. No. You give some more value, and then if they took the first value, but now they ghost you, guess what you do? Remove yourself. You reflect it back. It's a place of detachment. We're not getting in our head about it. We're not like, okay, I really need this one client. I really need this one corporation. If I could just get this one deal, I'm showing up. Here's the value. If they're like, oh, no, we don't work with, you don't have enough followers for us to talk to you. Cool. You bounce off. Moving on. Your life just became so much easier because all we're doing is looking for our people. We don't have to get into all of that. Okay. So you simply reflect back what you received, and you will win this game every single time. This is the blueprint for how to shift your identity, not be stressed out all the time, and build this life that we keep talking about. Hurry up and do it, okay? Because everything that you're experiencing is just a mirror of your own thoughts, your own behavior, okay? So all we got to do is stop thinking like in survival mode. Stop thinking about, what do I need? I don't have what I need. Oh my God, trying to get something for people and I'm not sure. Shut that down. Show up, add value. See what's reflected back to you. If they reflect something back, take that and create more value. Give it back. They reflect back, we like that. Take that, take another step, add value. Now we got a relationship. Now we're building community. Now we're hanging out. There's mutual benefit over time. There's compounding trust. There's repeated interactions. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to do, is to build a world where they could continue to just get value. They see you outside. They see the video. They see the podcast. They saw the email. They got the recipe. They got the checklist. They got everything. They're here for it. There's a world. It's a community. It's a life. It's alive. And you're giving value, and they're giving you feedback. And you're giving value, and boom, 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 boom. And by the way, you guys, we're going to do this over here if you want to participate. And then they're like, cool. And it's natural for them to just, bye-bye, let me go and join this membership. Bye-bye, let me go ahead and whatever it is. Hey, this was amazing. Can you do it? Can we just get a 3-year contract instead? I don't want to keep doing this with you every December. Let's just go ahead and sign up because you're about to be busy. I want to lock this down. You see what I'm saying? You become a proactive force in the world instead of always needing and reacting and hoping and opportunity. And then, because when you see, like, if you see a like this Google thing, an opportunity, they send it to me. They send it to a few more people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like, oh my God, I hope, I don't know if it's I hope I get this because, chill, please. I forgot about it. I sent it to the people. They said, oh, okay, first, February, we'll let you know. I don't even remember. I moved on. Because the value that I gave, the blueprint, the way that I responded, I promise you on everything, nobody sent back what I sent back to those people about that program, about that opportunity. The way I broke that thing down, I am the blueprint. They will now be looking at all their other coaches crazy, like, why aren't y'all showing up like she's showing up? My mark was left, okay? So I'm done here. My work here is done. So if they're like, oh, no, thank you at this time, what does that have to do with me? Nothing. We're moving on. But likewise, because I know what the value was, if their values align, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to stop everything. They're having a whole meeting right now, I promise you. Whole meeting. They're like, oh, they're sending it to, oh, boss, you have to see this. Look at this video she sent us. Look at this. Can you believe this? They're having conversations because the ripple effect is in full effect. You understand what I'm saying? You give the value and you're moving on. If they reciprocate, then you give them something else and it compounds. That's it. That's how relationships are built. And business is just relationships with numbers. So once you have enough feedback, once you know exactly what they're looking for, once you know exactly how you can provide that service because you talk to 50 or more humans, then you just put a price on it. So this you can get for free. This you can get for $27. This you can get for $50. This, if you want all of this, is $500. But you're just still showing up and adding value. They've had a conversation. They've seen your videos. They've been on your page. They're all on your LinkedIn. They're reading your book. They're doing. You're everywhere. But you can only show up like that if you've made this internal shift. Right? So that's what we talked about. Again, the required reading or viewing is that video I keep dropping every single time. I need you to watch it. You probably don't need to watch it more than once, but definitely try to watch it before the end of this weekend. Okay? There are 9 frequencies. We got to get aligned. We need alignment. One of those frequencies or characteristics we talked about is being kind. Not nice. Nice for what? But being kind. Okay? So we start with the giving, the value. We're not waiting to see what other people are going to do. We're not waiting for somebody to come and ask for something. We're not waiting for, when somebody pays me, then I'll do. No. Start adding value. Be outside. Declare your position that's in line with your new identity before you receive any evidence that you're going to get any reciprocation back from that. You start. You do it. Then when somebody comments on your thing, reciprocate. Reflect it back. And have some more value to invite them to. Oh my God, I see that you engaged with this post. Thank you so much. You know what? I would love to have a conversation. I read your profile and I really resonated because I actually could, I used to work for that company too. I would love to get on the Zoom with you for a second. You in the DM. Boom. If they ghost you, fine. They might go on a list or whatever. If they say, oh, that'd be cool, now it goes on your follow-up. Don't forget, schedule a call, get on the call. They forget to get on the call, cool, not on your email list. If they get on the call and it's a dead conversation, all right, great, they're still in your email list. They get on the call, you getting value, giving value, then they give you something back. We build again. Oh, that's amazing. You know what, by the way, it sounds like, I don't know, it could be, there's an opportunity like, do you have any other people? I know you said you used to work at the university. Do you still have some people over there that I would love to talk to somebody over there about the program that this is what I do, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? I think that would be a good fit. But actually, if I were you, I would do it like this. So they gave you some. So you take that feedback. You're like, cool. Okay. So if I show up like this and do it like that, can you connect me with it? If they say yes, we're just adding value. We're just building. It is not stressful. I'm not selling anything. This is not marketing. There's no like, oh my God, I got to make 10 sales calls. It's none of that. So if you want people to trust you and to show up for you and to ride for you and to refer you and to pay you money and to do all these things, you have to give it first. You want anything. If you want love, you want a relationship, you got to love yourself first. We want wealth. We got to create value first. Put the value out first. That's why I'm telling y'all to be outside, be on YouTube, be on Substack, do this, do that. Whatever that strategy is, whatever intuition is telling you, it's not optional. It's not a vanity metric. It's not when you feel like it. It's not, oh, but I don't want to be on camera. We don't have time. And you're going to either create energetic debt because you know you're supposed to be over there and you're not doing it, or you're going to do it and give value and wait for somebody to reciprocate. That's the game. That's all you got to do. That's it. But if you're standing in front of, you're looking at your reality, you sitting at the house, you sitting behind your computer, and you're looking at your reality, waiting for your income, waiting, hope I get a certification, waiting, okay, if I get in this program, then somebody's going, maybe I'll meet somebody, maybe I can, waiting for this to just kind of come to you. You can't win the game like that. So I'll know when you shift your identity, when you stop waiting. The place is always here. The time is always now. So showing up in kindness, this is the opening move of somebody who knows who they are, who knows how the mirror works. We're going to give. It's like if the queen comes to town. If you read the Bible, the King James Bible, it says, well, not King James, but the scripture, it says love is patient, love is kind. If you go look up that word kind, it means noble, nobility. So if a queen comes to the city to visit, it's like, okay, oh, you see somebody there, you're going to help them there, you're going to wave to them there, you're going to speak to them there, how can I serve? You're going to be doing the thing. You do the thing. You're giving. Not from a place of need, it's who I am. It's the opening move. And then if anybody got any sense and know how to get home training, then they're going to show up for you and reciprocate. So if they reciprocate, now we got an opening. Now we're going to have a conversation. Now we're going to see where this goes. You know what I'm saying? And then if at any time they show out, you just detach. Okay, that's not for you. You can't be around me. And we're moving on. We have boundaries. I taught y'all go watch the video. Kindness is the part that has you're giving, but you also have boundaries. You know how to talk to people and you know how to shut it off. If it's not being reciprocated, you just move on. Right? And you enforce that. We don't chase. We don't run after people who aren't doing right. We maintain our boundaries. protect our energy, right? And then keep your emotions out of it. We're not feeling no way, because a lot of times the people that, remember, money comes through people. So a lot of times the resources that you're going to get, or the referral or whatever that you're going to get, is going to come through people who, they might have disappointed you. They might have shown you like, you know what, I thought they were on this level. They really not. But we don't burn bridges. In other words, we don't burn bridges. Matter of fact, this Google thing I'm talking about, the person that introduced me to the person that it ended up coming through, how it got to me, child, he didn't do nothing to me, but I realized he's not who he pretends to be in the world. And, just let it go. It didn't got nothing to do with me. I let it go. And because you still need people and channels for stuff to come through. So we don't get into it with people. We don't start a bunch of confusion and get all rattled and stuff. Oh, they said they were gonna do this and they didn't do it. It's been 3 years, and why is he getting it and I didn't get it? And that, we don't do that. We don't do that. We just you float above. We float above, because you don't know how and when, what channel is gonna come back to you through. So we don't burn bridges. Okay. And even if you never see this person again, we just release it. Like we don't have time to hold on to any negative energy. We live by this energy. So we don't have time to be mad at people that you said you were going to do and what you didn't do. Yeah, let it go. Because otherwise you're carrying emotional baggage, which takes you back to energetic debt. And we don't live there anymore. We're building internal wealth. Okay. So how does this get to a conversation about forgiveness? Some of y'all need to forgive some people. They promised you, my godfather said he was gonna invest in my company when I graduated from whatever. He never did it. But you know what? That's all right. Because he's not my source anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. It's fine. And then the most important part of all of this, and then I'll stop if there are any questions. To be clear and predictable, you need to be showing up the way I'm talking about, not for a day, not for a week, not when you just, I feel inspired. But you should become known for this, showing up. So people know how you operate. They will start to adjust their behavior and their plans because they know you're going to show up like this. Your signal, your identity, your frequency has to be consistent and predictable enough for everybody else to adjust themselves around you. That's why I said like a queen. If you walk in this energy for real, they got to adjust to what you got going on, not the other way around. We don't walk into an environment and like, okay, well, let me see. Okay, let me try to get, let me see what they're going to do. Oh, I'm not sure. Should I say something to, because we live by this energy. We live from the inside out. So if my roots are established as a tree, now when it's time for me to show up where somebody else can see what's going on, I'm a tree. I'm here. Would you like some shade today? Because I'm going to stand. I'm a tree. What? And you got to circle around. You could have the tire swing, birds. You could do what you want to do. But I'm going to stand right here. This is what I do. You got to be that clear and that predictable and that consistent if you want to see your external circumstances change. So I'm going to stop talking. Any questions, comments, concerns, challenges, feedback, or personal story time? The more clarity you have, the more confidence you have in your identity. People know what to expect from you. You train people how to treat you. Train people how to treat you in your business, in your life, in your relationships, whatever's going on. If, hey, I show up in the value, you show me who you are, I'm going to act accordingly. That's it. Ain't no bad feelings. I'm not harboring nothing, but you're not going to treat me any type of way. You can't come over here with the foolishness and think it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People will adjust when you hold the energy. So I'm done. What y'all got to say? Cheryl says, you're so right. I saw a friend from middle school yesterday at the grocery store, and she said she's been watching what I've been doing. I had no idea because she never comments or likes, but she's watching. And that is not the first time this has happened to me. That is real life, y'all. They be out here watching us, and all kinds of stuff is happening, and you don't even know.
So I have a question.
Go for it.
I have been, in a moment of transition, and
I kind of feel like I'm nesting.
Mhm.
So like I just been very quiet and very still in terms of my business. And I've been unbothered by it, like not that I don't want to be making money because I am, but of course I could be making more.
Mhm.
So like in this moment of like stillness and quiet, like I've been on a almost like a Instagram fast because usually I post pretty regularly, but I've been just very quiet and still. And is that okay? I guess is the question. Like
Yeah.
I know that at some point that I have to get back into it and get into more of a more consistent regimen for myself. But like in this moment of transition of my life, I've just been just still and not putting myself out there like I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I feel like beforehand I probably would have been freaking out about it, but right now I'm good. Like I don't feel any way about it because I know that once I do get back into it that it's just gonna be even greater. Like the responses and the business will be like it'll just kind of pick back up to where it was, if not even more. So I guess, like I said, my question is like, is that okay? Like just to be still sometimes, and is like, when will you know when it's time to really get back into things?
Yes. The answer is yes, it's okay. I can relate to that. I literally, I didn't take a year off. It's not like I've been off, but compared to how I was going, I took a whole year off. Like I'm just now being back outside. And so the key to all of this is following your intuition, that internal GPS. Like if your voice, in your internal guidance system, right, is making you feel like that's what you need to be doing every day, and that's what we do every day. But also in that, it might be like, for me during this time, it was like, go back and listen to all of this stuff that you've been teaching. Because I saw patterns in the things that I was teaching that it wasn't lodged in my brain. But because when I took time to go back and listen, then I was like, oh, and now I saw a whole new way of, putting it together that I wouldn't have had time to see, if you will, if I was going. So your intuition is always right. That's the most important thing I want y'all to take from this. Intuition is always right. So yes, if we're resting right now in that sense, I mean, there's still something that you're supposed to be doing at the house, whether that's finishing your cookbook or, working on the new product that's about to come out, or, just like you said, getting the house in order. Y'all just moved or whatever. Yeah, be present in that moment of whatever intuition is saying to you now. You go crazy with that right now because you already have some cadence and some systems and some seeds that you've sown over 6 years or more, that are still gonna be producing for you while you taking this what feels like a break. So absolutely, it's a good question. Tracy, go for it.
Today, I feel like a lot of this is the same where you were talking about respect people's humanity, speak to people's humanity and respect their humanity, which takes the hustle and I guess the feeling like I'm feeling salesy, because all you're saying is really be there. Really don't care if it makes a sale. Just make the connection, make the bond. And I like how you say don't break bridges, because I don't know now. Yeah, I used to be a very big bridge burner. And in some ways, I'm still like, yeah, you can go. However, I think you're right. People, it still has to come through somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It still has to come through somebody. So leaving that door open, not out of desperation, but just as understanding, I don't see everything right now. I just see what's necessary for me to see.
Right.
So something else will be revealed. A simple question I had was, with the 5 things that we need to do every day, I'm very regular with posting, yet with many other things, I'm not. I am going outside to speak to people, yet I'm not doing it as much as I'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing this out of order, like the order that you're giving it, is that the order? Or is it okay to not do, well, obviously it's not okay not to do some, but if we're doing it out of order, do we stop and do it within the order so that we can do all 5?
Yes, it is an order. And that's a great question. It also relates back to what Asia was saying. So think about this, guys. Like if I'm saying everything is, internal, it's internal game. That means there's a lot of work that needs to happen internally. That might be in your journal. You might be at the house, literally. But then when you get to your big 5, I want you to think about that as being still very close to the chest, right? So practicing your 5-star pitch is something that you do by yourself, right? That's something you're doing at the house every day. Boom. Then when I say, look, I'm just wearing an afro today. When I say pick your afro, like the whole sales process and walking yourself through that and visualizing how you have that conversation and thinking about the parts of that conversation that trip you up, that feel weird, and let me go back and fix that. Let me research, let me work on that. Like you should be able to really, really flow, whether it's a very casual conversation and your first kind of networking version of the Afro method, or it's like a whole sales meeting and you're guiding that conversation in a way that everybody feels really comfortable. You're being really consultative and nobody feels sold or anything like that. That's also something that you would be doing at the house yourself, right? But then step 3, when I say activate this inner circle of talking to real humans every day, how did you get this inner circle? They're either people that you already know that you've already brought into the fold, or if you don't have enough people, I say that a lot, for those who are like, well, I don't have 50 people, that means you need to be outside, right? So there's a balance to that. So like for Asia, if you're in a season where it's like, I'm not just going to be going crazy, meaning like pulling up and running into events and things like that for the purpose of, working the system, that means that you should already have some people. You do have a list, right? So I would be, if I was at home, if I was nesting, but I had a list of hundreds or thousands of people on my email list, let me to start meditating on how I could start activating that list. How can I send a message out at least once a week? Get some feedback from some people. Just make some phone calls to some people in your community that already know you, and just still have those conversations, even though it's a time of nesting or a time of resting. Versus when you're in a very aggressive go mode, and you're like, I'm going out, I'm going to go to different places, every day or 3 days out of the week, and I'm going to meet new people and all that kind of stuff. You just have more outward focus, but you still should be talking to somebody every day for your business, right? And then broadcasting your brilliance is designed to take the conversations and what you're learning and gleaning from the patterns that you're seeing from talking to people, and that is what you're posting on your socials. So I'm assuming, like you said, you're posting most days. I'm assuming and hopeful that it is aligned with what you're hearing that people want to hear you talk about, right? If so, then that helps that flow. It helps because what you're doing is you're supposed to be digitizing, amplifying, and scaling the parts of your individual one-on-one conversations that are working. Now we're going to digitize that and take it one to many. That's the purpose of broadcasting our brilliance, as opposed to I know I need to be on social, so I'm just gonna get on social, because it's an experiment, but you want to reduce how many tries it takes. So if I post about something that I know people are already saying to me in real life, or from real conversations, or even just like real, I gotta find these slides. I can't find them right now, but I taught a class about this. Like there's 5 C's, like high conversion. How do you know that if you post something, it's going to get a response? And it's like what's happening currently, what people are already talking about in their conversations. You can glean that from online. Just make sure that you're in alignment with something that people are already talking about when you're broadcasting your brilliance, right? And then end of the day, whatever conversations you had, whatever feedback you got, then you document it. So yeah, it does go in order. And it can be done in a season of kind of rest in staying internal, as well as a season where you're being more outward facing. So those are great questions.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns, challenges, feedback, commentary, perspective, and story time. Whew, I feel like I got my workout in today. Thank you all for being here and for sharing on this journey with me. We are shifting our internal reality so that we can withstand what's out here and what's coming. I'm gonna drop some stuff in the WhatsApp, and I'm gonna give you the play for LinkedIn. And what did I say? Something else I said I was gonna give you guys tomorrow. But definitely the play that you can run this week on LinkedIn, I'm gonna give it to you tomorrow. So I'll be here at 2:00. Same time as always. Until then, I see y'all.